another week in the unknown, another month in the unknown, and it's just unbelievable how we all have that resilience to just keep moving along and just keep going from day to day.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect segue into our topic today. I wanted to talk a little bit about suffering. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you all because otherwise, as you speak, the video changes in the recording. So I will mute you all, and then of course, you'll unmute yourself if you want to say something. Okay. Thank you for coming, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. And as we get hit with this, I don't know, second, third, whatever lockdown this is, it just, I think we had a second one a few days ago, and then now it's extended. And here we are, building our resilience muscle. And I really appreciate all of you being here. I think just coming into community and making this time, making this space to understand how our inner world works is really the key for us to build our resilience, to be able to hold ourselves through the next few, who knows how long, right? And that really takes us into the topic of suffering. And what I would like to pose first is a question, ask you guys, what rings for you when I say the word suffering? Either what your definition of suffering is, or how does that make you feel? If you could put a few words in the chat box. Suffering. The word suffering, what does that mean to you? Poor health, pain, yeah. Sadness, a call to patience, being in pain, loss and sadness, yeah. Hi, Joy. Thank you for coming. Yeah, so suffering, there's a spectrum to suffering. Suffering can be pain, suffering can be distress, suffering can be this, anxiousness. Suffering can be mild, or suffering can be intense. So there's actually a spectrum to it. There was a time, help everyone. Hello, everyone. That too. Hi, Joy. There was a time when I would shy away from using the word suffering. I just thought, to me, when I used the word suffering, or I heard the word suffering, meant exactly what all of you said, that word came with a burden of heaviness. But really, suffering is just the anxiety, the shifting of frequency of our emotions and thoughts, and how that feels in our bodies. So the difference in pain and suffering is pain is what we feel in our physical bodies, but suffering is what we experience through our emotions and through our thoughts. And yes, that can end up in our physical bodies for sure. And so really looking at this lens of suffering, not really as something that should weigh us down, but something that we can come to terms with in understanding that it is a fact of life. When we think about suffering, there are so many examples. It could be something as, I shouldn't say simple because anxiety and stress aren't really simple, but they could be milder forms of it, all the way to illness and death, loss of someone. All of these are forms of suffering, and this is the spectrum of suffering. It can go from your 1, 2, all the way up to 9, 10. And understanding that suffering is just what our body goes through when things don't go our way, when things don't turn up as we had expected them to. And if you think about the pandemic, COVID is that big, great teacher for all of us, where, as we were talking about before we even started this session, that our heart is heavy again. Lockdown is here again. And it's interesting because I think that I even suffer to a certain extent. I feel this angst, because even angst is suffering. I suffer to a certain extent when I think of different cities doing different things, because I just go into like, really, you know, you can do this. So OC is, has the right to override this big statewide mandate, and then I find out that it's not a mandate in the OC, that each city is doing their own thing. They're able to override the state mandates. So it's so interesting, just that angst, just that discomfort, that's just that sense of dissatisfaction can also be called suffering. And we know that um, both physical pain and suffering is part of life. When we look at the spectrum of things that happen, even in our day to day, even pre COVID, we go through getting upset at somebody, someone said something to us, we're not feeling well, we have pain in our body, we have grief if we've lost a loved one, or if someone is ill, or if we fall ill ourselves. We know that it's a fact of life. Is everyone in agreement with that? That this is life as we all experience it? Yeah, you could just nod your head or thumbs up, or, yeah, right. This is really life as we see it. And yet, we have never been given the tools or the education or the experience of how to calm this down, how to manage ourselves. It's interesting, we have a spare tire in our car in case we have a flat tire. We've got California, we've got earthquake kits in case we have an earthquake, right? Why? So we're prepared, because we know that it's inevitable. We have first aid kits for the same reason, because we know this is going to happen at some point or another, that we're going to cut ourselves or someone's going to get hurt. So we prepare ourselves in that way. And we know this fact that suffering exists, that discomfort exists, dissatisfaction exists, and yet we're never prepared for it. We've never been given that education to prepare for something like this. And then COVID hits. And now we see all those, the mental well being and stress and anxiety, and so much of this bubbling up. A dear friend of ours in New York was sharing how, her young son is going through so much and he's depressed. And then somebody else was sharing that their 45-year-old son, my mom-in-law was sharing this with me, just went to the doctor and got some antidepressants, and I'm hearing this more and more and more. And the reason that this is happening is because we've never equipped ourselves, we never prepared ourselves on how to handle dissatisfaction, how to handle the angst in the body and pain and suffering. So what do? We handle it like we handle an emergency situation. That fight or flight, this is how we handle any discomfort. We either fight it and say, no way, no one's going to do that to me. And we come in with this fierceness, with this harshness almost of, I'm going to fight this, and you can't speak to me like that. Or we're just going to escape from it. We're just going to get under the covers, or we're going to eat, or we're going to go for a run, or whatever it might be. We're just going to escape it instead of sitting with it. And really, in order for us to manage it, in order for us to manage suffering, in order for us to help ourselves move from this unrest to rest, there are steps that we can take. First you spot it, see what it is that's bothering you. Where are you feeling that discomfort? How are you feeling that discomfort? And then just sitting in silence with it. And that's where our anchor comes in. This is where our anchor serves us. So choosing and using our anchor in meditation is the practice of choosing and using our anchor in real life. It's actually a practice for just that. So today's meditation, this is what we're going to do. We're really going to hold our anchor close. We're going to recognize, identify. If you don't have a favorite anchor, then make sure that you find one in this next meditation, and know that that's your safe space. That's your place to go to when you feel that anxiety rising. That's your preparedness. Just like we prepare with the earthquake kit and a flat tire, that's your extra extra oomph. That's your boost. That's what you're going to lean into. So, this meditation is going to be about finding our anchor, identifying our anchor, connecting with our anchor, knowing that it's always there with us, and just being with it. Okay. So, when you're ready, everyone, let's get comfortable. Feet flat on the ground. Eyes open or closed. Closed if you're comfortable. But if closing your eyes is uncomfortable for you, by all means, keep it open. Keep your eyes open. And also know that at any point, if you feel discomfort anywhere in your body, if your heart feels heavy, you can definitely just open your eyes, place your hand on your heart, and comfort yourself. And just let yourself know that you are there for you. So, with feet flat on the floor, let's start with a body scan. Relax your ankles and let your feet sink deeply into the ground, merging, becoming one with gravity, with the energy that Mother Earth has to offer us. Moving up to your calves, your knees, your legs, and your sit bones. And just letting your back, your sit bones sink deeply into your chairs. Letting go, aligning with gravity, and releasing any tension that you might be holding there. Shifting your attention now to your spine, noticing your posture. Is your back straight? Is it bent over a little bit? And just adjusting to let go. Letting go of any tension that you're holding in your shoulders, in your arms, your elbows, in your wrists, relaxing your wrists on your legs, and relaxing your fingers. Moving your attention now to your neck and noticing if you're holding anything there. And with the next deep breath, just letting it go. Softening your scalp, your forehead, relaxing your eyes, and softening your eye sockets. Releasing any tension you're holding in your jaw or your cheekbones. Relaxing your tongue. Noticing your inhale and your exhale at the tip of your nostrils. Sensing the warmth or coolness of the air that you're inhaling and exhaling. Noticing the expansion and contraction in your chest. Moving your awareness to your belly and just noticing the rise and the fall. Notice any sounds in the room and allow them to just be there. And now choosing your anchor, whether it's your breath or your sounds in the room, the rising and falling of your chest or your belly, or even your full breath. Your anchor could also be the soles of your feet. When we have busy days and our mind has been busy, soles of our feet are very comforting as anchors. And now, with a sense of honor and love for your anchor, just be with it. Having full faith that you can always turn to your anchor when your mind is busy, when you're afraid, when you're feeling discomfort or dissatisfaction, knowing that this anchor is your friend, holding it close, and really feeling a sense of connection and intimacy with your anchor. When your mind drifts, knowing that your anchor can help you bring your mind back into presence, into this present moment, into quiet, silence, and peace. honoring that your anchor is the perfect prescription for any discomfort that you might feel in meditation or in your day to day life out of meditation. Being with our anchor allows us to step away from the passing thoughts and emotions that distract us. Being with our anchor allows us to create space and distance from being overwhelmed with anxiety and stress as our thoughts and emotions race. Having full faith and confidence that you and your anchor are one. Our anchor can be a source of comfort, a place for us to lean into and to observe life, to observe the movement of the thoughts and emotions within our minds and any discomforts that brings into our body. With your next breath, feel the sense of gratitude for this anchor and know that it will be with you at all times and that we have the choice to shift our awareness to it at will. May you all be safe and protected. May you be well and hold others close to you, sharing the strength that you gain from your anchor with those that you come in connection with during this difficult time, both for ourselves and for others. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, wiggle your toes or your fingers, bring yourself back into your room. Some final words to share. Suffering gives us the motivation to change. Whether that change is positive or negative is completely up to us. Suffering also gives us the gift of sympathy for all who suffer as we do. We connect and understand each other through our common suffering. Suffering is not bad. Suffering never has a hold on us. We tend to hold on to it. So make a note of that as you get into this week, coming with your work, with those that you come in connection with, and see when you see others that are feeling anxiety or stress or discomfort, give them your hand and give them your love. And that could be in an act of kindness or a phone call or a text message or just holding their hand virtually, vibrationally. There's so many ways to do this to help yourself and to help others. And most importantly, turn to your anchor. Turn to your silence and then into your anchor every opportunity you get so you can self-sustain and carry yourself over the next few days until we meet again next Monday. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Monica, Navin, Sabrina, Simi, Joy, Chris. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Navin.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you for your wishes. And thank
Happy
you for
birthday,
joining
Roma.
me. Thank you so much.